Got it from Cisco. Networking is not worth your time.
Whoa, that is a hot take. I'm gonna need to hear some reasoning behind that one.
All right, so
That's crazy.
it's not that it's not worth your time. I just feel like in this day and age, and especially the part of the social media universe that we reside in, there's a lot said about networking. And although networking is important, I think it's overrated. I guess is a better way to put it.
Cheers.
Welcome back to another installation of the Bois podcast. I'm here with my lovely Studley co-host, Cisco, aka the GOAT, and Mr. Alpha himself, Logan Altenberger. How you boys doing?
Fantastic.
That's probably one of my most favorite lines ever, Mr. Alpha. It rings very well.
I got that from you, actually. Fun fact.
Thanks.
Yeah. It's nice and snowy here in Greenville/Hillsboro. How's it over in Baltimore? Oh, Illinois, right?
It's actually DC, but it's really ugly. Actually, it's like 32-degree weather and rainy, like 36, 37, but it's ugly outside.
Better
It's
rainy
wet and cold.
than sloshy snow. But
That's true.
anyways, we're gonna hop right into it today. We're gonna start with our hot topic, which is got it from Cisco. Networking is not worth your time.
Whoa, that is a hot take. I'm gonna need to hear some reasoning behind that one.
All right, so
That's crazy.
It's not that it's not worth your time. I just feel like in this day and age, and especially the part of the social media universe that we reside in, there's a lot said about networking. And although networking is important, I think it's overrated. I guess is a better way to put it. I think people put way too much importance on networking than other things, right? For me, I think what should be talked about a lot more, and it is talked about, but I don't think it's talked about nearly as much as networking, is having the right mindset. Mindset to me is key. Waking up, the right state of mind, being in the right, positive thought process for the day, to me is way more important than having a much larger network. And also, I feel like most people don't even know how to network. They just go slide into DMs hoping everyone will be their friends. I have a list of people in my Discord DMs that are just like hitting me up, just saying hi and asking like
I always
random
delete
pieces
the
of
highs.
advice. Yeah, the waves. I love the waves though. I'm not gonna lie, they make me smile. Okay,
Alright.
but that's where I'm coming from. That's all.
Okay. I do hear what you're saying, but I think it's ludicrous to state it in a way that networking is overrated. Networking is crucial. Networking will bring you a lot of success. It'll connect you with a lot of new people. What I would maybe rephrase it as is networking is often overcomplicated. It doesn't have to be this like big thing. You're going to this networking event or you need to spend X amount of time every day networking. But networking is important. It can be as simple as sliding up on people's stories or saying, "Hey, do you want to start this group?" Like we have our content crew group. That's networking. We have a group chat where we're just talking about growing our social media brands. So it can be super simple. It doesn't have to be this complicated thing, but it is important. It's not overrated.
Yeah, but I think it has to be like meaningful connections, not just DMing just to start up a random conversation. And it has to be,
But how does it
continuous.
start? Like we have a solid relationship now where we work together on things. We're always DMing probably every day we talk. But how did that start? You hit me up.
Yeah, I
You
hit
wanted
you
to
up.
get on Gated and Nike.
Yeah, but I guess where I'm trying to get is I feel like the majority of people that are trying to network right now, or the way it's spewed, is talk to everyone, get into everyone's DMs, be friends with everyone, and that's just not how you do it. Like, yes, I reached out to you, 2.5 years ago because you were way ahead on the journey than I was, but we stayed and had a
Yes.
continuous friendship
Relationships
going
take
forward.
time to build.
Exactly.
It doesn't happen
And
overnight.
the only way I would have been able to forge that friendship is by being in the right state of mind in myself being positive, being confident within myself, and putting myself out there to reach out to you. And not only that, also along the way, applying value to you as well. So that way it's a back and forth friendship. And obviously now I could literally, bring no value and we would still be friends and still kick it on this podcast.
Yep, for sure. When you're looking to network, you need to be looking for value that you're going to provide. And like an example of how I do this is I just looked at an 8A flip literally right before this call. I found an 8A flip and then I just sent
What's an
it to
8A flip?
Amazon to Amazon. It's where you buy on Amazon and then resell it on Amazon. And I sent that lead to somebody who I know really likes A flips. So I'm still kind of like harnessing that relationship and building it up and showing him that I can provide value to him.
Okay.
Yep.
So let me jump in here real quick. Cisco, talk a little bit more about this mindset, because that seems to be the thing. If I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like you're saying it doesn't matter how good or how much networking you do, it's worthless unless you're in the right mindset
100%.
to like get something out of it. Okay.
100%.
So tell us a little bit more about like, what is that mindset? How do you maybe get there? I know it's like a loaded question, but talk a little bit more about it.
I guess it just depends on like where you are in your journey, right? Like if you're just, reaching out to people, trying to create a network just by asking questions and just taking value from people and not giving anything back, then you're not going to be networking very well. So I think first it starts with figuring out yourself and figuring out what value you can bring to other people, and first learning some things before you reach out to anyone. Like if you can find, if you ask a question to Logan that can be easily answered on YouTube by just or Googling, right? Then that's a silly
That's what
question.
Logan will say to you. He will say, Google it.
If you were to DM me, if you were to DM me, how do I open up an Amazon store? Okay, that's kind of easy enough. It's like, okay, can you walk me through it? There's a bunch of tutorials on YouTube. Like, go figure it out. You have to take extra steps.
The YouTube links sometimes.
Yeah. And it comes in handy if you have your own tutorial, and then you can, get the extra.
It does come in handy.
Getting some views,
get that watch time.
Mm-hmm. But I think, all right. So I read this book called, I can't really say it because it's explicit, but it's Something Yourself.
Okay, gotcha.
And it is by, let me see, I can't remember the author. I think it's Gary something.
Shout out Gary something.
Gary something, not Gary V.
Gary V.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought you were joking.
Gary Bishop, that's the name. And it's really, he talks a lot about how strong your mind is in getting you into the right place and achieving things. In my opinion, you can become successful without networking, although it would be a lot more difficult. But I don't think you can become successful just by networking and not being in the right state of mind.
You still, you have to be in the right state of mind to still take action on the networking.
Mm-hmm. And also, if you have a bad attitude towards things and you're not being positive or bringing any value to even just a group in general, then people are going to be less likely to even want to network with you. So I think to become someone that people want to network with as well, you have to be in a good state of mind where you feel confident about yourself, where you feel positive, where you're just good to go. You're confident. You're feeling yourself. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you. And you mentioned how networking is not crucial for success. You can become successful without networking. And I agree, but I'm going to add networking will bring up a lot more opportunity for success. So I've been given a lot of business opportunities. We've shared products. There's one product in particular that we've sold tens of thousands of dollars in the last month because we have that networking and we're able to share it with each other. So being able to share products with other people is a good way of how you can become more successful in the space. And also just tons of new opportunities are going to be opened up to you if you are networking.
Yeah. And I don't want to come across like I'm anti-networking, but I think for me, where I find the most value is just what you said. Like you and I communicate, we've built this friendship, and now I'm also friends with Josh, and we have this village between the three of us that we are comfortable with each other. We crack jokes with each other. We have inside jokes within each other, and then we also talk business amongst each other. Right. I think for me, the value is more so finding those little villages that you can, make with like-minded people. For example, I have another, I guess, village of people that I have that I talk to about stuff unrelated to what we do. I have 3 other friends that all we do is just talk about anime and just kick it and just nerd out on Dragon Ball Z and Trigun and whatever.
Naruto.
And you would say like that helps like your mental state then, because it's like a detox and that kind of thing.
100%.
You're getting at? Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
So to keep going, actually, I'm enjoying it actually a lot.
All right. And then again, I don't want to come across like I think networking is like the worst thing you can do, because it's definitely not. I just think it is definitely put in the forefront when I think the most important thing is mindset, and that's what you have to really coach up before you get to networking. I think Discords are great. I've met a lot of people through Discords, and then I've been able to nurture those relationships into different small villages. That's what I refer to them, small villages of friends that are like-minded in certain groups, right? But I'm in a bunch of Discords, and I try to be active in all of them, but at the same time, I will more quickly and prioritize a response to my small villages of group DMs and text messages prior to answering a question on any Discord.
I mean, everything you just said, there was like a million analogies that just went across my mind. When you said coaching, my ears perked up. But like 2 things I want to talk about really quick. Number one, like when you're saying you have to build these relationships, I don't know, like the image I get in my mind is like there's like a chasm between you and like the other person. And like that first time when you send that text or whatever, you're like, it's like a rope across. So you have to like grab across. It's not a very like solid connection, but then the more times you go across that chasm, then it's like, then you're building like a little skimpy bridge, and then the bridge gets stronger. So like, that's what you're saying. It's like, it's not really strong until you've built like actually a really good bridge, and that takes some time. The other thing I was thinking about was like what you were saying about like the mental health. So if you're not in a good mental state, you don't have value that you bring to the table. It's kind of like there's a puzzle in front of you and you're just like a destroyed piece. And so like you would fit well in that spot, but because have water damage or you're chipped or torn or broken because you haven't been like taking care of yourself, then you don't fit into that spot that you had potential to fit into and provide value in. So those are like some analogies I'm thinking about there. And that makes sense to me. What I'll leave you with is, if networking wasn't so good, it's not like it's new. It's not like we're talking about something that's new. Why has it been being done for so long? Why has it been around for so long if it didn't provide value?
And I think that's what I'm trying to say, that it's not that it doesn't provide value. I just think the first step that people should take is really working on themselves and reflecting on themselves and where they are with everything prior to diving deep into networking.
Yeah, but that process is ongoing. I mean, that never stops. You never stop working on yourself. Like, it sounds like you're talking to a young person, but you could say that to anyone at any stage in their life.
Yeah. So I would definitely add, like, you can do both at the same time. You never, like, if you're just saying, oh, I need to get to the best possible state before I can start networking or start doing anything else, you're never going to get there. You're never going to be fully ready. You can continue to develop as a person as you continue to develop your other skills as well.
No, I definitely see what you're saying, and I can definitely, agree with what you're saying. And I just think, one of the roadblocks with networking, especially in our community, is that everyone's online. And although there are amazing people that you meet on networking, through networking in the different Discords, there's also, you're going to run into people that are inauthentic and not completely telling the truth on whatever it is that whatever the conversation may be. So it's definitely something to be wary about overall in general.
And it's hard to tell, right? Because they're online, like over text and stuff.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I'm sure eventually you'll see some like inconsistencies, but
right.
But yeah, I think initially, and especially if you're on that boat of wanting to build that relationship, then some of those things might like kind of just go over your head.
So let me ask you this: are you saying if you're networking, it's potentially detrimental to yourself? If you don't know yourself, you don't recognize that someone's inauthentic, or they might be like harmful to you or to your business?
Potentially, absolutely.
Okay.
It can be.
So that's like another side that you're saying, that it's like it's not all about networking, because if you don't know yourself, then it's kind of like a blunt weapon. It's not really useful.
Yeah, I'm not trying to say that networking's not useful. It's useful. I think you just have to be careful. And I think
Right. Yeah. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. I was trying to say
Yeah.
if you are not in the state for it, I was saying if specifically in that circumstance.
Yeah, and it goes back to being self-aware. If you know you're super like gullible and easy to convince, then you're gonna want to be weary if someone instantly tries to sell you something that you just reached out for a question for.
Are gullible people aware that they're gullible?
Maybe years after.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm pretty gullible. I'm not gonna lie.
It sounds to me like the general idea that if we're looking for like a common ground that we can all agree on is that networking can be beneficial, but you should look for the right time and place to do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's the best
So
areas to network?
yeah,
in
so
then?
how can you network and like what would that actually look like if it is beneficial? Cisco.
I think I can just refer back to how you and I met, right? Like that probably wasn't the best
Harassing
way.
people to help you get
Yeah.
ungated and Nike.
Yep, exactly. But no, like taking the because okay, so I found you via YouTube, right? And then I don't know how I
Shout out
followed the
Richie.
rabbit trail. Yeah, shout out Richie. I don't know how I followed the rabbit trail to Instagram. And then I think it was in the live chat. I was like, "Hey, bro, do you have an Instagram or something along those lines?" And then we reached out. So there was an effort done on my part. And then you had mentioned that you knew some information that I wanted to know. So I simply inquired about it. And then from there, I proposed an offer to you. You declined it. And it could have been very fruitful for you in that short moment that
Then
we
we
knew each
wouldn't
other.
be here. We wouldn't be on the Doughboys pod.
We probably wouldn't be on the Doughboys pod. But the moment I knew Logan was an authentic person that wasn't out there just trying to get a buck was when he told me no to $300 and instead to give it to Reezy.
Shout out Reezy.
Shout out Reezy. It wasn't $300. I think his group was like $99 at the time. I don't know what it is
Yeah.
now.
But you did offer me $300 for that Nike Ungate, and I said
That's
no.
true.
Go join the Reezy Resells group. Shout out Reezy Resells.
And I remember very specifically, you said you'll find more value on these $100 than you would spending $300.
We should go back and find those old messages.
We should. They have to be there.
Yeah,
Tweet 'em
everyone
out.
can see Cisco harassing me for the Nike Ungate.
Yeah, probably on Easter.
So I have a
On Easter.
story about networking. It was actually just last night. I went over to some family friend's house for dinner. They invited me over, and I was being candid about my life, which I think that's a big part of networking is being open, like share what your interests are and things you're trying to do, so then people could connect those ideas. And I was sharing about how I wanted to start up the soccer training program. I'm trying to grow it here in Greenville. And so I was talking about that. And then the family friends were like, "Oh, are you familiar with this coach he's a coach here at the university that I went to?" And I was like, "I know who he is. I've seen him, but I don't know him that well." And they were like, "Well, he already has a big program and he's looking to make it bigger on like what you're looking for." And so then like a light bulb went off in my head and I was like, I'm working for a club that they do volleyball, but they want to start soccer. He's got like kids and a whole infrastructure, but he wants to make it like big. So they have like the infrastructure for it. He's got the players. And so basically it was like through being open with this family, I went and talked to him today and I set up a meeting with him and my boss. And it's like, that was like a networking moment that happened that if I hadn't been open about things that I love to do and things that I was interested to do in the future with the family friend, I would have never been able to connect those two people and that potential.
Yeah, but you have to admit you were in the right state of mind to be there and take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, I'm in the right state of mind to connect to people. I don't know that I'm necessarily in the right state of mind yet to take advantage, like myself, of that opportunity. You know what I mean? Like if it had been 2 years down the road, I might have took that information from the family friend and just been like, I'm going to go do this myself. Like right now, I'm in the right state of mind to be like, okay, I know this person and I know this person. They don't know each other, and I'm able to connect them. and that's what I was able to do. So
should we change Josh's name to Josh the Matchmaker McGill?
I'm not there yet. But
Formosa matchmaker.
Formosa Matchmaker.
that sounds like some like voodoo like love doctor that's like
Yeah.
getting people to like that lady at the girl in the beginning of Mulan who like
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm
yeah.
talking about? Yeah, that's what that
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
like with like the cricket and stuff.
With all the makeup and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't know.
Good times, good times.
I don't know, man. I still believe pretty big in networking, just
And I do
because
too.
yeah, I would say for me, like even networking just through, it's so much bigger than even just business. Like it's massive in business, but also just in my life, I've always been someone who connects people and connects with new people through the new people that I've met. I mean, that's a sloppy way of saying it, but
Here's something I want to add. I think networking is more so a concept than something you're actively looking for doing. Here's an example, and I mentioned this before in the podcast. When I opened my prep center, it ended up not working out, but I built great relationships. I'm still working with my clients today. They're clients for other services. I'm business partners with all my clients. I didn't go there, open this prep center, and say, oh, I'm going to start networking with these clients. I just did it. I just met people. I just made connections. So I wasn't actively looking and saying, hey, I'm going to go network, but I was still networking. I was still achieving that concept.
But would you say that when you started your prep center that you were in a very ambitious, positive, entrepreneurial mindset, that you were ready to take on that task in front of you?
Yeah, sure.
And that allowed
then
you to
also,
be put in those spaces to
yeah, and then
network
also
naturally.
at the end of the summer when the business was failing, I was not in a great mindset. But that is the time when I started to convert those relationships that were established into more fruitful relationships.
So are you saying that your networking helped your mindset improve?
No, not necessarily. I'm saying that even though I wasn't in the perfect state of mind, I was still able to build good relationships.
Interesting.
So you can work on your mindset and network at the same time. You might get more value, like you're saying, if you are in a better state of mind and ready to, go for that. But also, you don't have to be in a perfect state of mind just to find value in something.
yeah, I would say there's a continuum there, like, or it's a scale.
It's ebb and flow.
You maximize your
Yeah.
value when you are in
Yes.
like prime state. If you're not in state, like then it's like damage control, liquidating assets type deal.
Oh man, liquidating assets is rough.
Sorry for bringing that up. So there's this person who works in the post office here in Hillsborough, and sometimes Logan and I will go to McDonald's and get this.
Shout out Mama Bear.
Wait, you guys
Yeah,
have a
shout out.
McDonald's? Is it 45 minutes
we-
away?
We do
No,
no,
we
we
got a
do have
McDonald's.
we do have a
Yeah.
Don's.
We have a Don's, as it is affectionately known as. But we'll go get this caramel macchiato drink with just an obscene amount of extra caramel put in. I mean, it actually looks really good. To be fair, I want to drink it every time. But we drive it over to the post office and then we give it to her. Is that a form of networking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Building a
the last
relationship.
time we did that, we gave it to her, and then she was actually having a really rough day, and she was like started like telling us about it.
She needed to
So,
vent.
yeah, and like I do think I agree with you. I do think that was a good form of networking. Sometimes networking is just giving to someone and just being a listening ear, and that's building the relationship.
Yep.
So that's more so effective networking versus just always asking.
Right. And yeah, sometimes it's better. I guess that's what you're saying, to be in a right state of mind, to have the perspicacity to see that you need to
big word.
give. Yeah, to see that you need to give instead of ask. Networking's not always asking.
Yes. Remain perspicacious.
Interesting. That's cool.
50 Cent has a nice quote about taking and taking. I don't know if you guys are familiar with. Have you guys have any of you read Hustle Smarter, Hustle Harder?
It's a good book.
It's a good book. He basically talks about how, once you're bigger and well known, people are going to come to you like you're an ATM. And if you give them continuously, give them either, close relationships, could be money, and, networking, it could just be advice. then they're going to continue coming because it's free advice, free money, etc. And if it's and if the ATM is giving you free money without you having to deposit anything, they're just going to keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. So I think that's where my more so come from also adding value, because you never want to get to the ATM and it be broken and you really need some cash.
That is a good analogy, Cisco. Shout out 50 Cent.
Shout out 50. Curtis Jackson. My man 50 grand.
Okay, so would you say specifically in the Amazon circle, you guys talk a lot about reaching out to the community and getting on like Discord groups, even direct messaging people? Would you ever say that work right there, it's better use of your time instead to just like manually source? If you're like, let's say you're a new seller and you're trying to get off the ground, would you say it's a better use of your time to manually source than it is to network? Or is it always like you need to be doing both, or they're just like,
I don't know. Like, is it better to reprice or find new products? Is it better to prep or buy inventory? Like, these are all things you need to do. It's not really like I'm going to do one or the other. They're all aspects, and you should be doing all of them.
Yeah,
like you should be networking from the moment you open up your Amazon store.
Okay. That's a good question.
See, it's a very hard question, because I think
what are your priorities? What needs to be
it's where your priorities are.
prioritized?
And also it's like there's a bunch of like top Amazon sellers that don't have any social media. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm sure they've networked in a lot of different ways.
Interesting.
But social media doesn't necessarily have to be one of those ways.
Right. They still have networks even though they're not on social media. There's other ways.
Social media is putting on easy mode. I mean, it does networking for you essentially.
Yeah.
Whereas like the networking that they're doing is like word of mouth, which is almost like it almost gets out of the way is this a quality person? Because if it's through word of mouth, it's like the person's telling you whether they're a quality person worth your time or not. I mean, unless that's not true. I don't know. That's how I would think about it.
Yeah, it's like a referral.
Mm-hmm.
I would just think that like if I just opened up if I went on and opened up my seller account today, I'd maybe get on those Discords that are free, but I wouldn't be trying to get on those ones that you have to pay to get into for sure. Because that just wouldn't be a good use of my money.
Right.
Could be.
Yeah.
I mean, I paid
a ton of money.
A Discord, and I figured out how to get ungated on Nike. And
then
it
depends on your budget.
But you already up and running and selling stuff then.
For like 2 months. I was brand new then.
Yeah, that is
like 2 or 3 months.
I didn't realize you were. Wow, that was fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Networking for the win for Cisco.
Well, guys, I think we are at that time. Quote of the day. Here it is. Life is like a game of chess. You cannot take a move back if you realize that you make a mistake, but you can always move forward with the best possible move now. Thanks for watching. Peace.